Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm taking a look at the Oppo Find X9 Ultra Photography Kit, or as Oppo calls it, the Earth Explorer Kit. I got this kit after I was reviewing the phone itself. So I got to test this somewhat separately from that review. If you haven't checked out the review of the phone though, and the phone camera, by all means check it out on the channel. So this is an interesting kit in a lot of ways, and it's not the first time Oppo's done this, and that's where I want to start. But before I do, full disclosure, Oppo did provide the photography kit for this review, but as always, has no say or editorial oversight whatsoever here. The lens is not the only thing in the kit, naturally. There's also the case, there's a filter adapter ring as well, so there's a few elements to it, but I'm going to start with the lens in particular because to me, this is the main draw, ultimately. So for context, when Oppo did this with the Find X9 Pro, they had two major flaws in the way that it was done. At that time, that lens attached to a bracket that only exposed the one lens, so the telephoto lens in that case. So you couldn't really use the other lenses as long as the bracket was attached. This was, to me, a major design flaw, and it made it difficult, actually, I would argue it made it easy to potentially lose that piece. And so fortunately, in this case, we have a fix. So the bracket that's on here is excellent. It's got cutouts for all the lenses, and it's actually a pretty sturdy bracket. You screw it on, and it stays in place very, very nicely. So well done. Definitely solved that issue. So now you take the lens off, you can use the phone, even with the case attached, and you've got the grip set up, you're good to go. And here's the thing. I mean, let's just put this in context. This is a 300 millimeter equivalent lens. Now, in smartphone parlance, that's a 13 times optical zoom. It's pretty significant. From a telephoto lens, telephoto camera here that you have, you've got an extender, a teleconverter that'll take you even further. And because it's a 200 megapixel image sensor, you have a fair bit to work with. There are caveats, though, to this. And I'm going to address those because the numbers don't always tell the full story. So the other major flaw to me was what you can do once the lens is attached, as far as the camera interface is concerned. There is a separate mode that you can select when you are using this. So you attach the lens, you select Hasselblad teleconverter, and you essentially have the extension that you have there. But note, though, that when you switch modes to something else, it doesn't work. You're not getting anything out of the lens at all. In fact, you have to take the lens off just to use the other elements, the other modes. This, to me, is a major problem. It's the exact thing that Vivo doesn't do with the X300 Ultra or even the X300 Pro for that matter. In that case, you can use any mode, anytime, regardless of which lens is attached. That's not the case here. What you have is just purely an extension. This has, I don't want to use the word ramifications, but it certainly has consequences. For example, there's a 200 megapixel image sensor in the telephoto that it's attached to. Okay, that's great. But can you shoot in 200 when the lens is attached? No, you can't. There's no way to select different resolutions ultimately when you've got the lens attached and you're shooting with it. That's already a flaw right there. But moreover, you can't shoot in different ways, meaning that if I wanted to shoot, let's say, in action mode, or I wanted to shoot portrait, for example, I can't do that. I have to rely on the processing or some kind of workaround in order to do that. For example, for action mode, the only real workaround when you have the lens attached is to shoot a motion photo. The problem with motion photos is that you don't really have any control over them. The software is deciding what is ultimately the best frame. So even though you can go in the editing stack after and select a frame and then export it as a photo, the problem there is you'll notice that in most cases, it is not a super clean shot. The focus isn't going to be great. In some cases, something might be off. So you more often than not have to go with whatever photo it ultimately froze on in the motion photo. This to me is just a problem. I mean, here you are, you have a lens that can get you closer to a subject. Their stage mode is even accessible. So clearly Oppo knows this because they're thinking concerts. And the problem is that you have to shoot in motion ultimately to try and freeze motion. There's no way to shoot in action mode. So applying the same principles that you would normally get with action mode and just putting them with the lens, I mean, to me, it's just a no-brainer, but unfortunately just not possible here. So then the real question is, why did Oppo choose to do this? And when I asked them, they said that they see concerts as the main draw for using something like this. I can't say I disagree, but at the same time, what about sporting events? What about a parent just wanting to capture their kid playing a sport? It becomes increasingly difficult to do those things. And when you don't have the flexibility of all the modes, it becomes problematic. I mean, it's almost to me like you're getting a 300 millimeter lens for a mirrorless camera, but you can only shoot in auto. I mean, most photographers would never accept that. And that's one of the fundamental issues that I find here. At the same time, I don't think all is lost, because to me, it seems like this is a software issue and something that Oppo could clearly fix if they really wanted to, by just putting out a software update that just opens up the entire camera interface so when the lens is attached. I mean, it's easy to like the construction of this lens. There's no question about it. It is sturdy, it's metal, very nicely crafted. Some of the perforations here are a little bit problematic at times when it comes to debris and just lint or whatever getting in there. That's a bit tough, but hey, I mean, you get a lens hood on top of that. Not everybody can say that. Vivo doesn't have one of those. And so you can see some of the craftsmanship involved in making this, right? I mean, it's just really, really nice. Okay, so with all that being said, what can we say about image quality? For the most part, I'd say it's positive. You're going to get very, very good shots with this, especially in the right conditions. You have a lens collar that can act as the mount, basically, so you can use a tripod. Excellent for shooting anything that, you know, could be a cityscape, it could be the moon even. Use it the same way and you can get very good results. And again, Oppo's processing and some of the fundamentals that I talked about when reviewing the phone itself, they do apply here. So even the filters, for example, you can still apply those things. Stage mode is accessible. You have some leeway, and of course you can shoot video with this as well. But again, not pro video. You don't have manual controls, which again is another gripe that I have, is that I can't shoot with any manual control either for still photography or for video while using this attached. So the available tools basically force you to improvise or to compromise. So if you want interval shooting, you have that available at the very least. You just can't shoot in action. So there's no way to really freeze action, like I said, unless you use take a motion photo. Exposure compensation is always available. This is great and really useful in some cases, depending on what conditions you're shooting in. So that's always nice to have. And on top of that, I mean, really, other than that, like, you have some explainers here on what the lens can do when it's attached. You can turn on auto HDR or turn it off if you like, set a timer and access some settings. But for the most part, really, that's pretty much the extent of it. One of the things to me that's too bad in the way this was done is that X-Pan mode also isn't available when the lens is attached. I mean, this, I feel like, is a big miss. X-Pan is so unique when it comes to modes that are in any phone camera, and the fact that I can get close to something and really get a good look at it, but I can't shoot it at the full 300 optically. Yeah, like that's one of those that you just can't get past in some cases. There's one thing I just wanted to clarify, which is about shooting at 200 megapixels. You can't when you're using this lens, but technically what happens is that the 200 megapixels are being cropped to facilitate the hybrid zooms that you can use while using the lens. So for example, if you go from 13 times, let's say, so that's 300 millimeter as we know, go to 400, switch to 600, and then you go from 690 to 800 and then on to 1380. So all of this is supposed to be a crop of the 200 megapixels that are available on this 3x telephoto sensor. Technically, there is a way to use the 3x telephoto on the phone with the lens without using Hasselblad teleconverter mode. The only problem is that it's upside down. So using the mirrors that are inside, that's the only way ultimately that you can get it looking. And it doesn't matter, actually, even if you flip the phone around, okay, I've tried this, it still looks upside down. So if you're sort of enterprising and you want to try and compose a shot despite the fact that it's upside down, I mean, of course, you can always rotate it later. So it's not that you're limited in that regard. The issue is more so that I mean, shooting upside down from 300 millimeters and above is a little difficult. I've tried it. It is not easy. But technically, it is possible if you're the enterprising type that wants to give it a go. Now, of course, the kit is not just about the lens. There's also the grip, which is interesting in that it's really, really thin. At first, I wasn't so keen on this because, honestly, it's nothing like Vivo's grip on its phone, on the X300 Ultra. But I do like the utility of the fact that it is part of a case, and so even if you're not using anything else in the kit, you can still just keep it on, it's good to go. It actually works fairly well in that regard. So if you're looking at this as more of a compromise, it kind of makes sense. There is a battery built into the grip. It does connect very easily also to the phone when you first set it up. It's just not a battery that is going to do anything with the phone. So as you can see, the USB-C port on the phone is still exposed. So it doesn't have anything to do with the phone battery. You're not topping it up or anything like that, like Vivo's implementation does. Then there's the filter adapter ring. When you put that on, it's great in that you can apply filters on here. I used a CPL filter in testing this phone and with great results. So it's definitely possible. ND filter as well. The only caveat here is that it does depend on the filter size. And I don't mean the ring gauge. I don't mean, 67 millimeter filters is what this can accept. I don't mean that. I mean, so in terms of how the filter is designed. So for example, when I tried to put on Moment's 67 millimeter ND filter, it didn't fit because the stub at the bottom of the adapter actually got in the way of actually mounting it. And so it was basically unusable and I couldn't use it. I'm sure other brands would be a different story because they might have a thinner profile or at least a slimmer profile, not as tall. But in any case, that was one disappointing thing in trying to test this out, is that I just couldn't use an ND filter because I only had Moments at that time. I'm just going to sum it up quickly and just say that I feel like Oppo is so close, so close. If they just open up the camera UI to the full kit, I think the sky's the limit at that point. There's so many things that would be possible simply because, again, we know the phone is capable of shooting really, really good photos, but unfortunately the lens is just not allowed, or at least the kit is not allowed to explore any of it, or at least all of it, most of it. And that is where I think things really kind of hit a wall here. I'm optimistic that at least Oppo would consider a software update that will change that, because I think really it's all just software. I don't think there's a hardware restriction here that would cause them not to be able to do that, or at least to negate them doing it. I think it's just a matter of whether or not they want to release a software update to open up that door, and hopefully they do. And that's my review of the Oppo Earth Explorer kit. You can always check out other reviews that I've done that are related to this, especially the Oppo Find X9 Ultra and the Vivo X300 Ultra as well. If you like the content, please feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And I'll be seeing you next time.